Mike Gallagher.
When my employer, the Salem Media Group, announced the latest addition to the Salem Podcast Network, Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags, I was real excited because it's a great feeling when somebody you've watched and listened to and admired for years joins the team. Let's welcome an award-winning broadcaster, Joe Pags Pagliarulo. A lot of vowels, a lot of syllables, and a big, bold voice. Joe, it's great having you on the Mike Gallagher Show. First of all, welcome to the Salem family.
Mike, thank you so much. Been a big fan for a long time, brother. Glad to be on the same network as you. Can't wait to get this stuff going.
Well, it's exciting because this is a time, everybody I know says, Mike, what a time to be a talk show host. I mean, nothing ever slows down. And you've been at this like me a long time. You started in 1989 here in Florida. There was a time when we used to and you were a news director and you're an award-winning broadcaster. There was a time when we actually had to do show prep. Now all we've got to do is open up X.
I still remember the time when you had to take the newspaper out and you took a yellow Sharpie and just started marking stuff off that you wanted to talk about. You hear a bunch of ruffling papers. Didn't use the internet at all. We thought the internet wasn't going to stick. That shows how much we knew. Yeah, I've been doing it a really long time. And the one thing is consistent, Mike. Like you, I still wanted to just tell the truth. Like you, I still wanted to just entertain. Like you, I didn't want to take one side over the other side all the time without examining the other side. And I think that's gone by the wayside. That's why shows like yours are so popular. And that's why I hope that this new podcast does well.
I want to talk about your transition because you were an anchor and a news director, so you worked in that journalism side. I still think it's up for debate whether those of us who have talk shows are journalists or not. I guess it's a form of journalism, opinion journalism, I guess one would say. But was that talk about that transition from your personal perspective of going from trying to be neutral, down the middle all the time, just calling balls and strikes, to being an opinionated talk show host. Was that a tough transition, Joe?
Well, it really wasn't. The transition for me was going from opinion something into television news, because at that point you couldn't give your opinion whatsoever. And little by little you saw the newsroom starting to turn left. And as they turned left, I would argue. And, being the main anchor, you had kind of a voice. And the last newscast that I was doing was at WRGB in the capital region of New York. I was the 6 and 11 o'clock co-anchor Monday through Friday. And I used to get a kick out of getting emails from people who would say, great, another liberal on the air. So I did the job really, really well because they had no idea what political stance I had. But in the newsroom, in the underbelly of it, Mike, heading into these newscasts, we would have arguments. I mean, really like loud, let's go. Let's really mix this up and bring the best news that we could possibly bring. But I saw such a sea change to the left. I said to myself, you got to get out of this. If you want to tell the truth, really report the news, and then give some opinion on top of that, because I think we are journalists and then editorialists on top of it. I had to get away from television news. And since then, that was 20 years ago. I left in 2005. So since then, it's gone so far left that I think I would have pulled all my hair out had I stayed there. And I would not have been a successful news anchor anyway, because now it's so far left that if you don't have the left stance, you can't be called a so-called journalist. But that's, again, why shows like yours and shows like mine, I think, do so well. We tell the truth because we examine both sides so well. We've taken the side that's right against the side that isn't. And you really couldn't do that in television news. You had to pretend this equal balance garbage became more left equal balance, and I couldn't stay for that.
You may not know this, but I spent a couple of years in the capital region before I went to New York City at WABC, and I worked. Nice. I did a commentary on WRGB, and so as a result, it's the only market I've ever been in, and people don't realize these college towns and these state capitals. There are liberals everywhere. You can't turn around without bumping into 12 liberals. And it was the only place where people would confront me at the mall. I'll never forget the Albany Mall. I mean, people would come up to you and just get in your face, and it was just a strange atmosphere to be in. So you and I sort of share the same track record. Yeah. Joe Pags is with us. He's got a brand new podcast, Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags, SalemPodcastNetwork.com. It has to distress you, coming from the background you come from and the news director jobs and the anchors, the work that you did, to see how filthy and corrupt the media, the legacy media has become in 2025. I mean, Joe, it's always been bad, but never this bad.
I want to give you an example of what I saw yesterday to really highlight what you just said, Mike. We're watching the new Prime Minister Carney, who I can't believe the Canadians picked Carney, but whatever. He's sitting there next to Donald Trump, and Trump's talking about this, that, or the other. Going to stop bombing the Houthis because the Houthis can't take it anymore. They say they won't attack any ships anymore. That's great news. The Houthis, that's not going to happen. Some idiot reporter, and you can go and check my math on this, says, when did you come to this agreement with the Houthis? How is it going to look? And what else can you tell us about it? And Trump says it's going to be great because they don't want to bomb the ships anymore. We're decimating them. We're going to stop bombing. It's going to be wonderful. The reporter asks a follow-up, Mike. I kid you not. He says, well, who told you that? I'm going, what? The freaking commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the United States is your source. He's sitting in front of you and just answered your question. And Trump goes, what do you mean, who told me that? So, I mean, the mind-numbingness of it, that you're sitting in front of the source. I think these people think you've got to have 3 anonymous sources who are familiar with the conversations, whose uncle's brother went to school with somebody at church, and that'll be the source that they go with when you've got the man in front of you, plus the vice president and the secretary of state, all telling you we're going to stop bombing the Houthis because we're decimating them. And he literally said, who told you that? Mike, it blows my. I could not do so-called television news anymore or print journalism like that because these people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
And that idiocy is existing morning, noon, and night every single day. I mean, Joe, look at yesterday's meeting with Carney. He was everything that they say he never is. Trump was diplomatic. Right. He was respectful. He was deferential even. He was complimentary. And, and they don't know what to do with that because they don't think that Donald Trump exists because they're never fair with the guy. They never. John Bolton, that guy, runs to CNN and says, oh, look, Trump caved with Mark Carney. So come on. So Trump is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. He's either alienating all of our allies or he's bowing down before them. They're never going to give him a break. Right. But Joe, we know that, and thankfully millions of Americans get it, and they obviously get you. And I just have to tell you how excited I am to have you join our family. I want everybody to go to SalemPodcastNetwork.com and check out Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags. Of course, you got a syndicated show, and you're going to do the podcast. You're going to do 3 shows a week, right?
I'm going to do 3 podcasts a week on top of the nationally syndicated radio show, and we're just going to do the best we can, bringing a former journalist perspective to how bad journalism is today, why they couldn't shut you up, they couldn't shut me up, and great interviews as well.
Well, you're one of the best, and we're honored to have you join our team. Joe Pags, keep fighting the good fight. Come back and visit with us again, and best of luck with the podcast and all the great stuff you're doing. We're really happy for you.
The honor is all mine, Mike. Thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you joining us. Joe Pags, Pagliarulo. There, I got it right. A lot of syllables there, and really, just a guy. I love these stories of people who sort of transitioned to talk radio like he did, because frankly, this has been like my gig for 4+ decades, and to find somebody like Joe, and there's a lot of people like him. You think about folks like I'm trying to think of like Megyn Kelly, I guess, is an example to some extent, but there's a lot of people who have had such a great career ascent because they know how corrupt and they know how bad it gets. They know how awful it has been to see the condition of today's news media. And they can tell the truth, and they have all the restrictions loosened, and they can be unfiltered, and that's what Joe Pags is all about. He's a terrific addition. You're going to want to check him out. Go to the Salem Podcast Network, SalemPodcastNetwork.com. While you're there, check out the Gallagher podcast too, because we got unique content every week, including our Week in Review podcast and shows that you may have missed, all captured for you. SalemPodcastNetwork.com.